Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Starcaster tournament. It was given to us this magical space by EHE Esports, and today with me we have Shibo as my color caster today,
Hello.
and on the other side, behind this amazing call stream, we have our producer Zinzia. So we're going to get started with the team today. Is between the fight comes between Cookie Crazy Camels and Haru's Harem. So what are your thoughts of these teams, Shivo? I want to know what you saw on our small caster's call and what we talked before this match.
So what I learned like really quickly when we were watching the games was that from Hara's team, their jungler is like really on top of things. They're really good at rotations. They're really good at getting wards down where they need to. So I think we are gonna see Cookie Crazy gonna have to play at a different tempo that they might not be used to because they are going to have to like shift up like the gear a little bit from what we saw from the games yesterday. It could easily have been an off game or something like that. But we are going to see like them under pressure to like show up for a higher tempo of gameplay to set wards and stuff.
That's right. And another thing that they played really well was on denying vision for the enemy team. Haru Saram did a fantastic job when it came to just taking away the vision, catching people off guard, going against people that were alone. Like this amount of pressure is definitely their strongest point. But we're missing someone very important from Haru's team that was present in the last game. Support Uwu is not here today. Instead, we have Mrs. Mighty Bacon on support today.
We have not And we have not seen her yet. No, their last support, Uwu, was like a huge presence on that Nico in the previous games that we were able to watch. Um,
Yes.
and not having that is going to be interesting if that's going to like impact the flow of the team, that they're no longer going to have that high support pressure, because we know the support is their main job is to be the one on top of wards and being on top of clearing vision. So that might actually slow them down just a little bit.
Yeah. So tell me something. Do you want to see Wyatt, the jungler on Haru's Harem, once again on top of the Kazakhs, or do you want to see him diversify into something like the Nocturne of the game that we couldn't see?
Oh, his Kha'Zix was just on top of things. So I would love to see him just wreak havoc again on that. I got to try that out firsthand. I am Serenity substitute, so I got to see it firsthand and get killed by it over and over again in that bot lane from him. So I'm
Yeah.
rooting a little
That
bit for the other team, a little bit of bias for me, because I want to see that Kha'Zix die, but that's just a personal vendetta after dying to him 20 times. But
it goes to show. But hey, no bias here. We need to be professional, my friend. We know that these guys are going to keep it, and we're seeing right now Cookie Crazy versus Harrow. We are watching right now the pick and ban. We
prioritizing
start.
the karma.
You're seeing the echo, and they're getting the Nocturne out of the way.
They're getting the Nocturne really quickly out of the way. Nocturne is very scary because of his ultimate being able to quickly gank from anywhere in the jungle. Like, he doesn't really need good pathing into the lane because his ultimate just takes him on top of the enemy in the lane.
Yeah. I'm also seeing that they're getting rid of the Cassidy. Cookie Crazy is definitely hitting specific things that we saw on the second game, but Haro is retaliating with a Sing Sao ban. Sing Sao it's really dominate. It has a really dominating pressure in the game as a whole. He's a really strong character, and getting ahead for him, it's so hard to pull him back.
It really is. I think the Kassadin is a huge indicator that Cookie Crazy has done their homework and checked on what they play, because Kassadin was like a huge menace in the game that they played last time.
And you
And
can
the
see
Jin
uh,
first ping.
Yeah, Jin is a relatively safe pick, and Harris Aram is going to get the
Oh, there it is.
Kha'Zix. Also, Haruno is an absolute great player with Ezreal.
Oh,
We saw
definitely.
we saw Haruno picking the character in the last two games, which goes to show their amazing prowess with it. Now let's see how Cookie Craze is going to bounce back from these highly contested pick. You've seen the Mordekaiser
The Mordekaiser has been picked up, showing their top side already.
and
Unless it is
Ivern.
a spicy Mordekaiser jungle.
Maybe we don't know. Ivern did a really good job with Mordekaiser when he was against that Shen against Team Sen, and we're seeing the Bolivar again.
The Volibear. We are seeing some comfort picks that we've seen before with the Ezreal and Kha'Zix and Harris team and the Mordekaiser and the Volibear.
Yeah, and we're seeing Haris Harm is picking the Garen for the top lane. So right now we're not pretty sure whether it's going to be Mord in the top lane or Bolivar. Because that's the cool thing about the champion is how versatile are both in both lanes. If they're
Oh,
going to stick to
definitely.
their
They can still
guns,
ping.
yeah, and if they're going to stick to their guns, it's going to be Mordekaiser top and Bolivar in the jungle, like we saw before.
So what we're
So
probably gonna see here is a support pick and leave the mid open for a counter pick. That's what I'd like to see out of Cookie Crazy here.
yeah, we're seeing the band of Nautilus, Lulu, Silas, and Joan. This is essentially a match of getting away annoying supports and hyper carries. That's what I'm seeing here. They don't want to deal with these beefy um, junglers that can shift the tides of battle in just a moment, and they just
And
left the Kazakh, and that's no
and
bueno.
there comes a support pick, making them very sustaining in bot lane and very safe. They're probably not going to die with the Nami and the Ezreal in bot lane, very easily being able to escape, answering with a Thresh, which is threatening, very threatening. If he lands a hook, they might be able to burst one of them down. They're very squishy as
The
well. So,
catches,
yeah,
the catches, we can see a lot of catching potential here in this game, but thankfully, Harus Harem has a lot of disengage.
they
Ezreal can
do.
go away. Kha'Zix can avoid stuff with his ultimate and and dashing, and the Nami wave
The Nami ultimate, yeah, it's the big
and the
one.
bubble and the bubble. Both of them can definitely help you out on getting away from a sticky situation. And we've seen a Yasuo on the mid lane.
Ooh, so that's why that explains the unit ban really quickly.
Yeah.
Getting rid of that counter, already thinking about before, and then the Master Yi.
What? What?
Okay,
Uh,
that is that the lethality Master Yi mid.
if it is, we're in for a hell of a match.
That's going to be
Because
very
from
interesting. So if I'm right, might not be. Lethality Master Yi is all about he's able to do his dash and making that dash deal as much damage as possible, and then trying to spam that in a fight, making him invulnerable while he's dashing.
oh man, this is oof.
That is interesting. Cookie Crazy is definitely looking like the beefier team with 3 tanks on their team.
This is going to be a if Cookie Crazy does everything well. Like let's just say that they take their
Mhm.
time, they consistently fight in specific moments, and they look for the picks that they need. They can get ahead, and would be really difficult for them to bounce back, because Kha'Zix, even though such a strong champion, he doesn't do really really well against really really tanky champions. It takes a while for him to melt them down. Garen is really good, but they have a Yasuo, and Yasuo can really slice through Garen a little bit too much. And if Master Yi extends a little bit too much, Yasuo can get a really hard lead from the start. The thing is that if Haru has shown us something, is the fact that they know their champions, that like they fight well enough.
They do. Their mechanics are really good. A thing I think it's very interesting to look at here is to look at the magic damage on Hara's team. Their
Yeah.
only source that I can see is the Ezreal and then a little bit from Nami, but she's not going to do much as a support. Probably going to focus a little bit more on the supportive items because she's not going to have that much gold.
Yes. And I see that and as you said, and these guys are all champions that can build tank items and perform really well.
We're going to see a lot of armor this game, and if it is Lethality Master Yi, the thing that it's the worst against is a lot of armor. So
This is a rough draft if you think about it a little bit, because if they're going to bank on Master G doing a bunch of damage and not getting stopped, there are other champions that may help you a little bit more than Nami, for example, or than Garen. Um, Draft, it's always a really hard thing to actually um that actually play. That draft is like a chess game. You're looking constantly for something else. You're looking to consistently find weaknesses on the enemy's plan. Like there's a bunch of stuff there that needs to be taken into consideration every single time that you're constantly doing these matches. And I think the most solid team is definitely present in Cookie Crazy, and they might be able to get an advantage. But in the case of Haru's Harem, they have a team that, if it's able to pick the slightest bit of advantage, it can just roll down, they can just steamroll over the competition.
they can definitely just run away with it. Hara's team is definitely the more difficult one to play, but when looking at Cookies, their engaged strategy for team fights also seems like really difficult to pull off. Like there's no like cookie cutter way of playing either team here. So it is going to come a lot down to the individual player's skill level to make something happen.
Yeah. And taking the Mordekaiser taking away any champion of them. Like, I think Mord could take away any of them aside from Garen and G in the late game, and he might be able to 1v1 them.
He might be able to getting some armor in there, maybe, and then just getting them stuck. I'm interested to see if that Ezreal's going to build full AP.
That could be really fun if he does it.
It
Because we've seen that Ezreal can work full AP.
He can work, and it is in contention right now. Then playing Ezreal full AP is it's a possibility, right?
Yeah.
He does deal a lot of damage with his AP. Like both his W and his E stacks really well with AP and his ultimate that can swing one fight with if he like places it well.
Yeah. Like we will have to see. Like there's a bunch of stuff happening right now. We saw the second match between Serenity. They went a build on Ezreal that's built to just melt down tanks. You were seeing the Divine Sunderer, you were seeing the Muramana, you were seeing you were seeing, and even the, I don't remember the thing that looks like a lance that slows you down if you hit an
Yes,
ability. That one.
Shirulda. I can't
Uh-huh.
remember.
Shielda's
Yeah,
Grudge.
Shirulda Scratch. There you go.
Yeah. And I want to see another thing that I was going to ask you. Do you think no, is Kha'Zix is going to bring Ignite? Yes, he is.
He
He's
is
bringing
bringing Ignite.
Ignite.
He is bringing
So
Ignite, so it's Ignite's mine.
yeah, for what that means is that he's going to look into early fights in the jungle, like 1v1 scenarios, and he's going to try to go to single lanes, to solo lanes to get the ignite going as an additional amount of damage. You see that this Kha'Zix is going for a conqueror, which we might see a different kind of build.
It does let him go very aggressive against the enemy jungler as well. Like, if he does invade, he will be stronger than the enemy jungler just on the back of that Ignite, but he will not have as many options of getting away without the flash, like no flashing over walls. He'll have to use his jump to do that, which very often is used to get in on the enemy or catch them if they're running away.
I'm just excited. I just want to see what they're going, how this match
Oh,
is going to
yeah,
go on.
definitely. A note though, I believe we're playing on the patch that nerfed Divine Sunderer when Israel is going to be building that. So it is going
Hmm.
from dealing 12% of max HP to 9%.
Yeah.
So it's also
So
going to
we,
be interesting to see if that's how big of a hit it is to this Ezreal if he's choosing the tank busting kind of Ezreal.
but Haruno knows how to go
They
around with
know.
this Ezreal. He really knows how to move around with this
Yeah,
character.
he
We're
definitely
seeing
does. They all of Hara's teams has shown that they're really adept at playing their champions.
really deep ward on the top side. They're getting that information on the red
Welcome
side.
to Summoner's Rift.
And when it comes to bot side, they're just sitting there. They're just waiting for something.
Yeah, it seems like there's
30
no
seconds
invade
until
being
the
planned
ring
right now. They're all just
starts.
spreading out into their default positions, making sure that nobody walks into their jungle unnoticed.
What I really want to see is from the guys over at Crazy Cookie Camels to start doing to take a little bit more carefulness when it comes to warding and stuff. And another thing that I really want for them
Minions have
is
spawned.
that they become consistent, because consistency is one of the most important things that you can have in League of Legends, bar none.
And the junglers are starting opposite sides. That means they're probably gonna be trading scuttles in the at 3 minutes in, and then ganking opposite lanes or mid lane at the same time. They're
Yeah,
not gonna meet each other.
which might be actually something good for Bolivar, because he would want to have that spacing from what they're doing.
Oh yeah, that Kha'Zix has Ignite. He wants nothing to do with that. He just wants to do
At
his own
least if
thing.
it's if he's alone, he doesn't
Yeah.
want to do anything with that. Or maybe he wants to get an early gank on him way later when they are alone. That can happen too.
In
They,
this
they
bot
have the
lane,
information in the red. And you're seeing
oof,
Master Yi going inside, trying to get a small trade on Mr. Yasuo.
very small trade. What's key in bot lane right now is that Cookie Crazy really wants to not take many trades until level 3, and
And you're
then
seeing
try
in
and
the
go
mid
all out.
lane that G is trying to wait, what's happened? What? Holy!
Does it
Igniting
save him?
going
The
for the Alpha
potion.
Strike. We did like it got the early burst. He's going in.
you
He
almost
wants
hit
that
that
so
tower dive.
bad. Yeah, he
Blood
wants that
on his
so bad.
teeth. And
Garen
another
going for
trade
the
in
early
top
the,
lane.
the early trade too. Garen is so strong in the levels 1 through 3. It's really good for him. And G didn't burn his flash. He only burned Ignite, while Yasuo doesn't have Ignite. So maybe the next time he might not be able to be so lucky. That early burst from Master Yi's E is really important. But a good thing that is coming from this is that Bolivar is getting a lot of soak up experience, which might give him a lead later during the match.
Yes, I'm curious if that did punish him farming in the mid lane, because it's so early and could very easily kill too many minions. And there's gonna be a fight around bot scuttle, maybe.
Yeah,
Seems
we're
like
seeing
Kha'Zix just wins it.
Kha'Zix at this moment has 5 camps. Bolly just has 4, and maybe what he wants is to deny the scuttler for Kha'Zix. But Kha'Zix is not going to take a lot of offense from it because he might be getting something a little better.
Oh, stealing the red.
Getting 3 buffs at the start and 1 scuttler is definitely going to be detrimental to Volibear.
And there's nothing
We
really
see
for
Master
Volibear to
Yi.
grab on the top side. So he is gonna have to either gank or go for
Or
a
wait for
reset here.
Grump.
Yeah, wait for Grump.
Oh, look at this! And we got the first blood, jumping in and doing the Alpha Strike, getting the early advantage for the Haru's Harem. At this very moment, we can also see that bot lane is actually doing pretty well. The gold advantage right now, it's around 700. Remember, guys, just the first blood doesn't mean you're winning the game. We've seen this before.
Yeah, bot lane going really slow. Haru's Harem being really difficult to engage on. They have to hit a Wonder Hook on him, and it cannot be an Israel, because Israel can still E, even if he got hit by the hook, if he pressed it beforehand.
One of the weirdest interactions in League of Legends there are, but look at this. They're trying to get something in the top lane, but they're sadly not going to get it.
Yes. Nothing to happen up there. Volibear's gonna go really far behind the Kha'Zix here. He is on the struggle bus and playing catch up from here on.
Yes. We're totally seeing that at this moment. We have small trades in the top lane, really heavy farming in the bot lane. But the thing is that Kha'Zix now it's in its second route on the jungle, getting every single camp, getting over 13 minions on top Volibear. Kha'Zix was really a contested pick against for Teams Haru. It was really strong, and we're seeing Master Yi going for the ultimate off a streak on the tower, and he gets it.
And he's out
unscathed.
safe. Maybe we're gonna see more of that Master Yi mid in the future. Seems like he's able to outtrade the Yasuo very cleanly.
I don't tell me. Master Yi is a champion that I particularly don't really like.
He is definitely able to run away with the whole game if he gets ahead. And it seems like he is.
The thing I hate the most about him is how he meditates and becomes this unstoppable thing. Getting a hook in the bot lane, Thresh flays away, and well, we're still in the same amount. The wave is frozen on top of the tower, giving Haru's Harem a little bit more of breathing room in the bot lane.
Late
and G is going again in the mid lane.
Volibear is just like those 3 steps behind every time, just not able to get that scuttle. And now he has to run all the way to topside.
Yeah, and Kha'Zix, what he's doing is that he's getting he got this early advantage. Yi is really strong. We don't see that Volibear has done a lot of presence in the map. We just need to wait. And G is also phrasing the wave in the middle lane. And something that we were talking about, and another going in with the ultimate and getting another solo kill against the Yasuo.
Oh no. Pepega Kachao really struggling in the mid lane now.
Tragedy for Cookie Crazy Camels. And right now we're seeing Kha'Zix mobilizing into the enemy jungle. He wants to look for something. Will he be able to get it? And no, he doesn't. He just... Wait! I wouldn't be so sure.
Oh? There's a fight happening around top lane, and Volibear almost won over the Kha'Zix. That's actually a surprise to me.
And he doesn't want anything to do with that. Volibear 1v1 is too strong.
Yeah.
So
Kha'Zix
another important thing. Another important thing that we need to look into consideration is the fact that not only Kha'Zix brought Ignite and has done a lot of early presence in the map, but another thing that he did really well is right now is getting the Rift Herald. And another thing that you might be able to spy on your highs is the fact that he's going for for something with the Iron Spike Whip. And with a team like they have, a Gore Drinker would be actually pretty good for him.
Seems like he's gonna go for a more AoE style, maybe do a little bit of split pushing later
no, I
on
see
with
something
that.
more. You could see there's another thing that might be that is going like for something like a Black Cleaver and going for, I don't know, you can see the Black
expecting
Cleaver
the armor.
and the Gore Drinker. Like he brought Conqueror because he wants more fights. He wants more prolonged fights. And we're seeing that Bolivar is trying to do the Drake.
Pass smells it.
Yeah, but Kha'Zix definitely has these nodes really well placed in his nose. And Cookie Crazy got them! They're fighting, they got a kill in the mid lane. We're seeing Kha'Zix fighting 1v1 against the Bolivar, but it's not going to be really... Oh, and he backs down, respecting the Bolivar. He's trying to... He doesn't want to do anything with that. He doesn't want to give up on his lead. He doesn't want to allow Bolivar to go more ahead than he is right now, to be able to do better 1v1s later. And the score is looking 4-0. All kills went to Master Yi. What are your thoughts on what you're watching right now? Where do you think the match is going to look forward in the moment?
I don't think that dragon really brought them back. It was a great thing for Cookie to get that, because it is going to delay the game a little bit more, because what I see is going to happen is Haru's going to be able to push that mid lead into other lanes, especially as I expect the Herald to go down in mid lane before 14 minutes so they can get those plates. Yeah. And then start transitioning into other lanes and push their lead from mid lane into the other champions around the map.
The summoning of the Rift Herald in the mid lane and getting the first tower. Really early objectives for Haru's Harem. They are trying their best. Wyatt is doing a bunch of damage. He's bringing out the brush. He's trying to brush down Mr. Bolivar, and look the amount of damage by just touching him a couple of times. What do you think he's going to go for? Kraken Slayer, or do you think he's going to go for the shield bow?
I am definitely expecting a Kraken Slayer here. It looks like he's so far ahead, he really doesn't have to.
Amazing Alpha Strike in the middle lane. He's trying to get away, but he's going to be shot down by Bolivar. Going ahead, they're trying to stick on top of Kha'Zix, and Kha'Zix is going to be able to go away unscathed, and he goes out. Really tragic shutdown. It definitely gave a lot of gold to the one member that was doing okay in the Cookie Crazy Camels side of the field.
A little bit of an overstep there, giving away the shutdown from the Master Yi onto a tank. As we said before, what's going to be key is all of those armor items that are going to come on in late game, and it was a Kraken Slayer. Because I expect the Master Yi so far ahead, he really doesn't have to worry about surviving. He just needs to kill the enemy faster than they kill him right now. And then,
another thing that you're seeing is Ivern getting a bunch of priority in the top lane against Garen. Using the ult, going under tower, and getting him for the 1v1 kill in the top lane, trying to narrow down that advantage that they have, that Team Harus have over Cookie Crazy Camels. And the reset on the blue buff, and Kha'Zix taking a little bit more time. Master Yi is going to the top lane. He's looking for his prey, and he's going to find him, going to Alpha into him, trying to fight against the Mordekaiser, igniting for it. Mordekaiser using the shield and killing him. But on the other side, there was a catch on the bot lane, on the blue buff between Kha'Zix and Nami, that got Bolivar in a really bad position.
The re-kill in the bot side was huge there. The Master Yi It had so much blood on his teeth. He found those early kills. He can taste it. He's like, I just want to run around and kill people. And you
I
can see
want
the
it.
frustration when that.
He wants that. He wants that damage, those kills, those auto attacks. He's dreaming for them. In the bot lane, we saw, as we saw before, all the supports that appear in Haru's Harem tend to have a lot of presence in the jungle. They want to be there. They want to go with their jungler. We don't see the same amount of pressure in the mid lane like we saw with Uwu in the first game, but it's pretty good too. Remember that Garen can get a little behind in the early game, but he can definitely bounce back. We saw it in Haru's Harem fight when they fought against Udyr's Serenity. So Serenity's Udyr. So we're definitely seeing that. The moment that Kha'Zix decides to pass towards the top lane or something like that, you're definitely in for a really good fight.
I think gonna
Bolivar fighting Master G alone in the jungle. They're gonna try to get him. They're going to fight, and he gets the Bolivar with an Alpha Strike, and also they, with the help of Kha'Zix, they get Yasuo, and you see Haruno's ult coming all the way from the base, and you see Kha'Zix wanting to fight, not wanting to do anything with the Mordekaiser. As we know, Mordekaiser has a lot of 1v1 potential, and he's definitely going to try to avoid it. Going with the ultimate and getting out of the blue side unscathed.
Definitely, and the Haru's Harem choosing to prioritize the Herald over the Dragon.
Getting another kill on their tower in between the mid and inhibitor towers, and Garen getting a bunch. This is huge for Garen because getting a slight advantage of Mordekaiser is huge for them. Now we're seeing Bolivar moving down the bot lane. They might be able to look into for another Drake, which is really important right now for them. They need to grasp as many objectives as they can right now, because if they want to bounce back, they definitely going to need those.
An interesting buy from Mordekaiser is his boots right now, where he's prioritizing knowing that they're not going to have a lot of armor on the enemy team. A teleport in top lane.
Here's the disengage that I told you about. In the bot lane comes Bolivar, and Nami disengages with the ultimate, and essentially is back to full health. This is what I told you about. The disengage is really important for them. Getting away with an Edgeworld E or a Nami ult are really important.
Definitely.
And here goes Master G once again, popping the ult and going against the 1v1 against Mordekaiser, and essentially destroying him to the huge advantage that they have right now. 7-2 for Master G, 300 gold bounty, and we're seeing the Kha'Zix with the Strike Breaker getting and the ultimate and bubble from Nami. They're trying their best to get into these guys and slam them to the ground. Kha'Zix gets hooked. Molly's there, but Thresh gets destroyed. There's a lot of stuff going on in the bot lane, and they were able to go away with one kill for them.
Oh, definitely not. Masis tasting blood again, moving down, deciding to choose this opportunity to take the red.
We're seeing the Rift Herald in the bot lane. Kha'Zix is mobilizing, trying to get into them, and he goes into the Yasuo. And Yasuo through the wall, but he doesn't care about it. Master Yi goes Alpha Strike, destroys him, goes into there. Alpha Strike kills Yasuo, and bot lane gets the Bolivar, essentially going for 4 kills to 0 in the bot lane.
And
13-40 with an advantage of 8,000 gold.
There comes the snowball that we were talking about, getting ahead early, and they're not done yet.
Here's Master Yi popping the ult, going with Alpha Strike, turning on the E, and killing on their tower of the bot lane. Kha'Zix getting the second dragon of the game, a Wind Drake.
We also see the Mordekaiser going for a little bit more of a reserve build with his boots. As you see, the rest of his teammates have bought the Iron Boot, which reduces damage taken from auto attacks, knowing they're gonna get hit by the Master Yi. He's not opting for that. He's saying, I'm gonna deal enough damage, and trying to outburst the Master Yi.
Which is going to be really, really hard. Master Yi going inside. Pushing, getting under tower. Nami bubble. There goes Kha'Zix going inside, but Ezreal shooting skews all the way outside. You're seeing Nami trying to peel for the targets that go inside, and as you saw before, we're seeing Ezreal gets caught, Flay goes back, bubble for Nami, and the spikes from Kha'Zix, trying to pressure as much as they can in the mid lane. We're seeing a lot of damage.
A lot of damage and a lot of fighting. Horus Harem really want to press that lead and keep fighting and keep killing.
But you might be able to notice something that is really great of Horus Harem fighting style right now. Master Yi, although it's one of the highest parts of the damage, if they kill him alone, that really tips the scales that much. Because there's a lot of damage potential and a lot of presence in the game from Kha'Zix, Ezreal, and Garen. Without just counting how strong, how well Nami's playing with those bubbles and the ultimate.
Demacia is also so strong right now that it costs a lot of resources to kill him right now. So even when they kill him, they have used everything to kill him and have nothing left for the 4-0 Kha'Zix and the 1-0 well farmed Ezreal.
Right now we're seeing the Master Yi going inside into the bot lane, into the top lane, trying its best to decimate the Mordekaiser, and he's going to bring up his little brush and brush him down. That's what it is. It's like he's brushing down with that little stick. That's how he does it.
Yes. I see what you did there. Masi is starting the Baron here, saying, I'm gonna solo this one.
He totally can with thanks of the Blade of the Ruin
Kha'Zix
King.
moving up. Yeah, they're gonna go help him.
But look at these early objectives that Horus Harem had for themselves. Look at the safe bot lane, the very engaging mid lane. They played a controlled match. Like, they allowed for Kha'Zix to move around the map and do whatever he wanted, and Master Yi was definitely confident that he was going to decimate the Yasuo. Like, we totally understand the Master Yi pick right now.
Totally understand it. I would also not be surprised if Yasuo has not played that much against the Master Yi in mid and wasn't sure about the damage numbers in there. I was probably caught off guard with how much damage Master Yi
does. Look at that damage from the Ezreal in the mid lane. He does so much. That will teach you not to sleep on the Ezreal.
Yes. Ezreal is definitely favor of the month right now in bot lane. Like, he is a really high pick and ban rate in all games at the moment.
Look at this in top lane. Garen is definitely protecting that cannon minion, and he's going to go away.
Oh.
We're seeing him trying to still pressure the top lane. He wants the tower with all his might.
Yeah. Dealing a little bit of damage, then falling back, using his passive to heal up again, and he's probably gonna keep doing that.
Mordekaiser ulting the Master Yi turning on ult and going Alpha Strike, started hitting the inhibitor while in the Shadow Realm. We're seeing Garen going 1v1 against everyone. Bolivar was able to destroy to kill Garen, but right now you're seeing that Kha'Zix is right there to back his body up. We're seeing Master Yi going inside, trying to kill the Jhin as fast as he can. He's trying to get some of the fountain.
Almost killing two people in the fountain.
We're seeing Kha'Zix taking the mid lane tower. He wants that inhibitor too.
They're looking to put them in check, getting the dragon going back for the checkmate, taking all of the inhibs probably in the next push, or just walk under the turrets and kill him. Looks like Massey is not at all afraid of going even under the fountain to kill people right now.
We once again want to remind you that this event is made possible by Elo Hell Esports and our amazing producer, Cynthia. Please, shoutouts on the chat. this is an amazing organization that gave us this opportunity to be casting this event, and at the same time we have Cynthia that is keeping this stream going. Now Team Haru is trying to reset, trying to assess all the stuff that they got for themselves, and they want to assess what they want to do next, whether they're going to pressure the naked inhibitor in the mid lane, or whether they want to continue playing with their food.
Ezreal finishing up his mana mune, getting that more mana soon, and yeah, let's see which lane they choose. Is it mid or is it top?
The Kha'Zix got a jump into the Jhin, and even though he doesn't have a full lethality build, he was able to do a bunch of damage to him.
Oh, with
Stridebreaker.
Yeah, with the Stridebreaker, yeah. It looks like they got well out of it. They have so much gold right now over Cookie Crazy.
CPC.
Yeah.
They're getting that. They want these inhibitor. They want every objective that they can get. And Kha'Zix gets the jump on Mordekaiser. They're trying to get in, but they're not. They're just going to. Maybe they're going to just satisfy themselves with just the inhibitor. But we know this team. We know how they've been playing. They couldn't care less about just meager objectives. They want to go in. Master G popping the ult, trying to get on their tower. He's brought on their tower. I cannot say how much stuff is happening. Master G still is alive, going on their tower, fighting everyone that they can. They get Nami, and now we're seeing Garen and Ezreal trying to fight Jhin alone. Garen flashes in, goes with the Q, and he doesn't. Oh, he already had his ultimate.
Slapping them with their wallet. And slap that wallet is wealthy. Walking under two turrets and killing all of them.
And 14,000 gold on top of them. That is really something.
There's no longer any...
putting pressure...
No longer any turrets, both inhibs and bot side are now dead. There's gonna be super minions pushing in. If the map was not open for them already, it's definitely open now. As they're choosing the safe route, they're gonna use up their gold, get just a little bit more items to seal the deal, and probably just gonna walk down through min.
And you can see it on the playstyle of Kha'Zix this game, that Wyatt doesn't want to allow them to bounce back. He doesn't want that at all. What he wants is to go and destroy them. That's what Wyatt wants. He wants to not allow them to bounce back, and he wants them to fear him.
I think the only chance I see Cookie Crazy have is if somebody from Haru's Harem are so far away from their teammates that they can just kill them one by one. But they're walking as two groups right now. It's going to be very difficult for them to find that.
Master G getting hooked, getting pulled by Mordekaiser. Kha'Zix going in with the ultimate, going into the Shadow Realm with Mordekaiser. No, he didn't. Master G going around like he owns the place. Alpha Strike into it with ultimate, turning on the E, going against the Thresh, destroying the Thresh, going back. He wants the triple, and at the same time we had Kha'Zix going at them in every single position, and this is going to be game one for Haru's Haru.
Amazingly played for them. Getting that lead in the mid lane, using Herald mid, and then using the lead that Master Yi built to just like take control over the whole game just from mid. Just like spreading out their lead to the other lanes. Even the Mordekaiser who was ahead, Master Yi was able to just walk top, shut him down, and be like, now my Garen's ahead. Now what are you gonna do? Check, ball is in your court. And then they just kept fighting, kept killing, and kept their lead going, and kept snowballing all the way through that game. And the lead just got bigger and bigger until they couldn't keep it back anymore.
It was so hard for Cookie Crazy to bounce back of what happened. Like, it was like you had this ginormous amount of pressure in the top lane. You had this amazing amount of pressure in the mid lane, and you had a Kha'Zix that was going around like he owned the place.
Yeah, the Kazakhs getting the lead on that Volibear, so Volibear didn't have the resources to do anything. Like he had no options to gank, he had no scuttle crabs, he even lost his red buff, right? So like it's not like he could go mid and get anything done because he was already so far behind. His priorities were elsewhere.
Leaving that second red buff to Kha'Zix, like with him leaving the bot side almost untouched, was definitely a
Hmm.
bad call. He wanted to get the jump on Kha'Zix from getting the second scuttler, but in doing so, he neglected his own jungle.
He
And we
did. The
saw him,
Kazakhs read him and was like, "I'm gonna go take your Ran."
yeah. And and this is what we're talking about vision and what you call it, information. Like he knew, he perfectly knew that that Bolivar was going to go towards that Scotland through the mid lane.
And he saw
Uh,
when he took the first scuttle that Volibear did not have his red buff on, so he knew the red buff was still alive. There was no ward in there, there was no vision in there. He just looked at Volibear, was like, "You only have a blue buff on. What did you do to your red?" And then he went in there and took
yeah,
it.
yeah. It's all about information. Okay, it's all about looking at the map, looking at, and the early moments of the game are always some of the most important.
Yes,
And
definitely.
you're going to be able to see it constantly. It's so hard uh, to bounce back from a really good early game. I think. Yeah, yeah. I think we're going to take a break.
All right. Yeah, let's head on over to a break. We're going to be right back with the second game, you guys. Don't go anywhere.
Because as we did see, the one lane that didn't really get a lead in laning phase was the top lane matchup. Yeah. Haru's team is not afraid to first pick the jungler. The jungler is definitely like a key part of like how they steamroll and do things. Most games, it feels like. So like they're definitely not afraid to use their B1 pick on that. Yes, and has the skill to back it up. He's not afraid of the counter picks. It'll be interesting. Israel is one of the stronger champions right now. We are on a new patch. We're not quite sure how things are going to change. I was surprised to see nobody go for the Hullbreaker builds last game. Yep. We have seen some Nautilus picks, so it could be a flex pick in a bunch of places. Does make it a good pick, and they did play Nautilus Zillion bot lane last game, so it is a potential uh, opportunity for some trickery here. Yeah, so there's
I
definitely things that are available here that are open for a lot of different opportunities and things going on.
Yeah, and as Pete is now no longer talking to himself, like I was sitting here, I had the whole thing predicted. Definitely had everything right.
Uh, I do
But yeah,
say
looking at
I do say Shiva is a god. He's always right, except for when he's wrong.
that is clear cut thing. So we're seeing the Morgana counter pick in the Nautilus, expecting the Nautilus. Actually, a little bit also countering the stun from the Cillian.
Nautilus can only Black Shield one of them though, and they do have options, and it looks like it is going to be Nautilus Zillion bot lane, unless it is going to be a Nautilus top. I have heard people talking about it. I'm not expecting it, but it is definitely a potential pick here. I just find it odd they went with the Kindred because last time the 1v1 duels went so heavily in Haru's favor, and they picked a champion that early game is not very good at 1v1s. And they haven't been able to transition to a mid or late game at an even state yet to get Kindred to the point where he could be able to be dangerous.
That yeah, I was about to say that Kindred pick that's a very confident pick. Like you're picking that and you're expecting to get pressure enough to move in and get those marks.
Uh,
So that is definitely that's a power pick. They're actually by picking that, they're saying we're gonna try and get pressure early. We're gonna try and push you under your turret and get that lane control so the Kindred can just move in and take your camps as they please.
which they didn't prove they could do in the last game. And even in their first set of games, they didn't prove that was their strongest pick. I think I probably would have went for something a little bit safer, a little bit more scaling. Um, Try to get through that early rough mid game, or pick things that are really strong early game so you can get over that hump where you're weakest at. It definitely seems like an awkward pick because they don't like. Again, we still have to see top and mid pick, but right now they don't like look like they have a winning lane.
Yeah, it is unless that they have some kind of read on Hara from the last game. They saw something happen and they're like, we can abuse that. But
And that's
yeah, we
100%
have also
possible.
seen a Kindred top as like an off meta pick, but I am not expecting it at all this
Honestly,
game.
maybe we're just going to be completely thrown out of this, and it's going to be something along the lines of,
Okay.
um, well, maybe it's going to be Kindred ADC, and it's
It
like
could be.
Nautilus jungle, and this is all just a big bait and throwing us all around. Looks like we are going to see a Hullbreaker game this game, though.
That's a lot of pressure in the top lane with that Yoring.
Yeah, and that was the one lane the last time, as we were saying, that they didn't like hard lose.
I do not know if Haru's top laner plays Irelia, though it would be really good with the team right now.
I've mostly seen setups play Cho'Gath, Garen, and um, Set.
Yeah, so maybe a Cho'Gath using that AoE to kill those minions, getting the health back when killing them too with his passive could be possibly be his pick here.
It'd be
We
interesting
still
because
haven't seen an ADC on CKC on Cookie Crazy. So that's still really open where that Kindred's going. It could be a Nautilus jungle Cillian Kindred bot, or
yes, we don't know for sure. It could be. I'm thinking it's going to be like we don't know who's going to be mid bot ADC jungle right now. Only thing we
we
know for
don't even
sure
know
is
the
their top laner
support.
because like
Yeah, we
Zillion
could
could
we
be
could see a
mid.
support pick.
Yeah, like Zillion could easily be the mid lane pick here. There's definitely a lot of options
Yeah,
here, and I think this is what's really. I mean, Haru's team should know what the top lane. They know what the top lane is, and that's their pick left over. So I wonder if they're trying to decide if they want to try and like match the split push, or if they want to just give up the split push. And Yumi, so it looks like they are going to be shuffling some stuff around. It looks like they are going to go
that
Morgana top.
Yumi is. I'm getting confirmed that the Yumi is actually a Gwen pick, and they're unable to pick it right now.
That's fine. Okay,
Um,
Gwen is one of the few things in the game that can actually like run into a Yorick.
she definitely is. I haven't seen that matchup very often, so I'm not sure how that's going to be playing out. How
Gwen
she's going to do
wins
against that.
very heavily early, and even into the mid game, unless Yorick can farm really well. But it is
The
Yorick,
late
so
game
even
pressure
though
from Yorick, she is going to be living in top lane against that Yorick. Like, if I know a Yorick right, he's going to love being in top and
yeah,
just like one-shotting the turrets.
I expect her to probably build that new mythic,
Yeah.
the one that's like designed to counter Hullbreaker.
Oriana into Seraph. That's a very safe pick.
It is. It looks like so we still don't really know where all the lane matchups are. We are still going to be interesting to see what section everyone here goes. Um, it could be Kindred. I almost think I would prefer the Kindred ADC here, just because I don't see what lane they have that's going to win. Like Yorick is normally a lane that you can usually count on to push really hard, but into Gwen, not really so much. Uh, Gwen's wave clear is much stronger, and if Yorick walks up too far, she just does so much damage.
If I were to predict, I'd say it's probably the Nautilus Cillian in bot lane, and they're going to
Yes,
go for like a mage in bot lane with a lot of poke, and then punishing a hook with a double bomb. Um, I haven't seen the interaction between Morgana and Cillian enough. If she black shields the bomb doesn't can't stun, but it still sticks. If I
I
remember
think so,
correctly,
and it still
right?
does. Obviously, still does like the damage because it just absorbs the CC first.
Yeah.
Yeah, is I think this game's going to come down to top lane. I expect the Zillion to be able to win mid again, although Oriana could play safe enough to not die lane, and that'll make the game much different.
If the Yorick gets a significant lead, then I can see him controlling the whole game just from top lane because he is forcing people to go top because he can just immediately take down a turret if they even consider leaving him alone in top
Yeah,
lane.
and that's
The
going to be the thing.
Kindred falling behind could mean a lot this game too.
York's going to need to just like survive, stay in lane, keep his health up. Then the minute Gwen backs, push hard.
Yeah.
Right, get those plates, get those towers every time Gwen's back. Gwen doesn't have the sustain York does. Just fire up his little helpers and throw them at the at Gwen and use that damage to slowly poke her down. York,
Definitely seems like that's probably going to be the way top lane's going to go. I do hope, as you say, we see from Cookie Crazy they're playing top heavy. Since Haru was able to pick the Ezreal Morgana, I don't see Kindred ever getting a gank off in bot lane,
no,
just like ever.
Ezreal's
And the
very
Seraph's going to be
safe.
playing from and Seraph's going to be playing from a mile away in the mid lane, outranging the Oriana as well.
They could make like 4-man plays bot. Like
They
those are
could.
options, right? If Gwen makes a mistake early and York can get that tower, he can look for a TP play bot and get that tower as well. Um, there's definitely a lot of pressure on setups to not misplay this game.
A lot of pressure to the top lane, a lot of pressure to the junglers. I think the best pick on Haru, from my opinion, is the Nocturne right now because he can answer any gank that happens in top lane, or he can help put just by being in like out of vision, he puts pressure on the top lane so that Yorick can't go aggressive and try and build that lead. So a thing that Nocturne actually can do is just not show himself, so they have no idea where he is, and that
I
way it feels like he's everywhere.
One of the things I think Cookie Crazy should do this time is try to get a deep ward in so you can see that vision of where he's starting. Because you really want to be able to start on the opposite side of
Oh yeah, he does. He
of
wants to trade scuttles if he
yes.
can. Like trading scuttle is so important. He also wants his own team. We have seen that Haru's jungler is very aware of where they're starting, and that was why he went for the butt scuttle instead of the top scuttle last game, because he knew that's where Volibear wanted to go. So they need to fake a leash on both sides on Cookie Crazy so that he has no idea where Kindred starts, and Kindred needs to start on the opposite side as the Nocturne.
Which is a 50-50 coin cost because you don't really know. It's like one of those mind games of being, will the Nocturne assume he's going to start topside because that's the opposite side usually, or will he?
Yeah,
You know,
going in
yeah.
deep, getting a ward is could be very key for the Kindred here, just to see where the Nocturne stands.
Early levels on Kindred are so important because you're not really a real champ until you get your first couple marks in. You get that first range extension. That's when you actually start feeling like you can do something.
Yeah, I believe the number that they're going for, isn't it 4? I believe it's
It's
4
four
where
or
you
three.
start.
Yeah.
Yeah, where Kindred starts actually being. She starts being really scary because she gets that range increase, and as soon as she hits level 6, she can deny tower dives or tower dive herself with the ultimate, making everybody invincible. But usually, when you tower dive, you're trying to wait until after you get the kill and then you ult, so that any tower hits afterwards
Yeah.
doesn't
So
mean anything.
you don't win that fight, they get that last tower shot that makes it a 1-for-1 trade.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is always frustrating when you go in, you do everything right, then they just like took you just a second too long.
Horus team has also been able to pick the Ezreal in every single game this tournament so far. It's really become like a staple pick for them, getting that Ezreal and building the Divine Sunderer, and then just doing a lot of damage to tanks. Actually,
I know last patch Ezreal was, in my opinion, the best ADC that you could play.
oh, I couldn't agree more. Like I'd hated playing against him.
But with a tank meta coming up, that might change. With a expected tank meta coming up, the patch is still really
Yeah,
fresh, so we don't really know yet. A lot of people think it's going to be a split push top tank meta again, and that really hurts Ezreal because he won't hit as hard against the big beefy targets of tanks.
9% is still a lot, and when he's naturally building into Serelda's Grudge, then he's still going to be able to deal a lot of damage to tanks. I'm not sure it's going to mean that much to Ezreal. I think he's still going to be like probably the strongest, well,
I just
the best champion to like pick in bot lane when you're blind picking or into
his
most champions, right?
part of what his safety is always going to be there, but I just think the ones who build uh oh my god, the name escaping me right now. The item that does extra damage when you auto attack more, the people with more health.
People with more health.
No, the auto attack based mythic. My brain just turned off. I'm sorry, guys.
Are you talking about the
Kraken Slayer.
Kraken Slayer?
Yes.
Yeah.
I feel like Kraken Slayer champs can get stronger, and if tanks start getting it really popular again, then Vayne's obviously going to come back into the meta again, right? Because the Vayne lives in whenever tanks get strong.
Yeah, yeah. Vayne comes and goes as tanks comes and goes. Like every time there's tanks, there's a Vayne. But
Yes,
we have
and
seen Kai'Sa do the same thing actually recently. So
yeah, for
Kai'Sa is
sure.
like coming and going as well.
It's one of those. It's just this last patch was the first time this season I think we've had a clear cut favorite for ADC. Because until then, so we've been at a point for a long time now where various ADCs have been pickable, and they've all
Yeah,
been pretty good. Like there hasn't been clear cut like this is complete trash. I mean, Jinx was kind of there.
yeah, and then again, then they just buffed Jinx to like a reasonable state, and then she was
Yes,
okay again. Like the extra range that she got was just like so big for her.
and even before, like Jinx was always a champion. She who is a hyper. Even when she was trash, she was still a hyperscaling champion. So, like, if she got a chance to farm enough, and if you didn't shut her down enough, eventually she was just going to start being a menace.
Oh, definitely. Um, yeah, I had a thought. There it went. It was something about Ezreal again.
And the
So
Divine
yeah,
Thunder
looking
nerf
at the
to
bot lane,
ranged. You
if
saw the
what?
Divine Thunder got a nerf to range this patch too, right?
Yeah, he got nerfed to ranged. Yeah,
Yeah. So like that hurts him a little bit as well, along with the champions that he's objectively not quite as strong into, getting stronger as well. But again, a lot of this is speculation. The patch is really new. Hallbreaker's gone through like 3 nerfs already in the pre-patch.
yeah, 3 nerfs in the pre-patch. It's very difficult to predict what's going to happen with the new items. Every time there's a huge meta shift, it's going to be really difficult just knowing exactly what's going to happen, but we can have some idea. I
Yes.
do think that Ezreal is going to stay bot lane, and he's going to keep being like the number 1 picked ADC
Even
for now.
when Ezreal was an S tier, he was always A tier because he just it's really easy to not die on him.
Yeah.
He's one of the champions that you're not going to lose lane on, or you're not going to lose the game by losing lane on.
The moment Ezreal becomes like really, really strong is when you don't have to auto attack on him, which he didn't have to do when Divine Sunderer was so strong, because then he can just max range Q all the way through a team fight. But as soon as you have to auto attack, that's when you see that Ezreal players have to play way more reserved and choose their fights so that they can deal that damage. And I think that's why Ezreal was on top these few patches, because he didn't have to auto attack to deal a lot of damage. His Q did enough.
Yes.
Coming into this, and they're starting the same side. Didn't go for the D board.
We got the defensive ward instead of a D board.
As somebody's being called back at the blue.
Get over here.
And they're not faking the leash, so they're gonna know exactly where Kindred starts, and they're gonna be able to play around it.
Pings. Yes, this first rotation is going to be really important to see what's going on here, to see what happens. Let's see if he wins the 50-50 coin cost on the Scuttle. Because even if he loses the Scuttle, if he gets an attack off on it, he still gets his mark.
Yeah. What Kindred wants is not to kill Nocturne. He's not trying to get ahead. He just wants the mark so he can be reasonably follow. Yeah. He just wants to like follow Nocturne. He needs to be at the same gold level, same XP level.
He does scale better. I mean, he scales forever, so of course he scales better. But
he does. Already a huge trade in mid lane for against the Orianna. But Orianna did bring biscuits into mid, so she will have more sustain.
Orianna really needs to focus on dodging the long range skill shots, but that's just like in theory against any champion, you need to dodge the skill shots.
Yeah. Just dodging you win. And
hits that stun, does not dodge that one. Gonna land the shield back on him, and Xerath's puny little auto attacks are gonna tickle him just for a little bit more damage.
Yeah, so Xerath has been known for a real long time as a really good pick into Orianna, just because he outranges Orianna on every single front. And during these early levels, he also has more push and power, but that's really far ahead.
Kindred coming down, and he's low on mana. This could be really dangerous for the here. Flashes over the wall to try and get away. He's gonna follow, land the flash, another auto attack. Xerath's really trying to get that first blood, but misses it.
Who got the first blood? That was the
Kindred just got the first blood a second beforehand.
The mark is at the butt scuttle. Nocturne did not cancel out the mark.
He's going to lose his Raptors for this, but if you're Kindred, you're going to take the trade of your Raptors for your first mark.
Definitely going for the mark. Nocturne, again, just trying to get that top farm away from Kindred. This time, it's a little bit better because he's, one, not losing his red light last game, and two, he's getting an extra thing with the mark.
And he got a kill mid for it.
Yeah.
So he lost his top jungle, but he got first blood for it. So as you can see, Haru's team does not have vision on Kindred here, but Kindred's not going to just hang around. It's taking too much time. Gonna start working his way back.
He's
Gwen
gonna
is
check if it was cleared in bot side. When he sees that it's completely cleared, he's probably gonna back, get his items, and then come back out and start from bot side again, just like Nocturne, and they're gonna follow each other up towards top side. Nocturne being a little bit ahead now, because he backed first.
as you can see, setup pulled back here. I thought he was pulling back to try and get a gank from this Nocturne here to put the Yorick out of position. But the Yorick, it didn't happen. The Yorick's not biting. Yorick definitely does not want to walk into Gwen, because that's a range matchup that he loses. He just wants to do what he can from range, get his farm. All he really cares about is farming right now, get himself up to the point in time where he can just walk up and do something. Pure Alpha's really shoving mid hard and using up a lot of his mana. It's really opening him up to just be killed again, because he has no flash now. He has almost no mana left. If this Kindred comes mid here again, it could easily be another death on Xerath.
Whew.
Always want to be careful when you're running straight back. Kindred goes in here, is going to land his big damage here, will get the kill, stun lands, but he's going to get out before anything happens. This game is looking much better for Cookie Crazy.
Looking way better. The Kindred is showing up so far, punishing that Xerath.
Yeah, we were talking about before how Kindred needed to scale more, but when the Xerath is pushing that aggressively and having almost no mana by the time he comes up, there's not much he can do to try and defend himself. He already used Flash on the first gang, so he's just dying. Bot lane showing us how to dodge skill shots.
Interesting pathing from Kindred. She knows the Nocturne's gonna be topside. There is nothing in
His
bot side for her to take. It has to be a successful game.
his jungle camps weren't up topside yet. That's why he went down to get the camp he missed before. They're going to land some damage here. He's going to pressure some people back. He's going to work his way back up. He might just use this to solo Dragon. Or he's just going to back.
Nope.
And Kindred's again going right into his top jungle and really trying to force Kindred behind here.
Yeah, Kindred definitely decided that she was not going to go for the top Scotland. She was not going to go for her own Raptors, going for a gank in bot side. That was why having a successful gank bot lane was pretty crucial to her income and gold. And now she's taken a little bit of a hit against the Haru's Nocturne.
Yeah, Haru's Nocturne has doubled his farm, which more than makes up for the kill difference in gold. And you see, Kindred's already assumed he lost his top camps as well, so instead of wasting time trying to do something, he just went right bottom. We have big ult coming in here along with Nocturnal. It's going to get the kill here. Kindred, this might be dangerous for Kindred. Doesn't get the dodge there. That was really close to him dodging that. Sun lands, he's just going to get absolutely blown up.
The ghost from Nocturne, allowing him to stick to the Kindred, not just that she cannot get away. As there's engage in top lane,
She dodges the cage.
doesn't quite get the cage.
The big scissor attack goes off, but it doesn't really make too big of a difference on Yorick there. He just manages to keep it going. He's shoving this big wave in here.
Touch definitely showing up in top lane right now. Pretty even in gold, but winning the trades, which puts a lot of pressure on setups. Going back to a quiet game, Dragon is up, and we are probably gonna see them start going for it soon. Or go directly for the Herald. Gonna be interesting what they're gonna be looking for here. There's no lane that has a clear lead right now, except mid lane, maybe for the Xerath.
We have 4 going bot here. This is going to be a big player to see if something happens. We're really going to need this Nocturne to land a hook, and not Nocturne, sorry, Nautilus land hook, and he did, but unfortunately it was just a little bit early. He's going to show up on this ward here, so they're going to know he's here. Let's see how they see if something can happen here. They're going to land here, land the damage going on here. This is not going to be enough for the kill. He does have ult. Will he ult to keep himself alive? No, Zillion ult instead.
So, continuing on.
He walks out of the ult!
Down.
Why didn't she walk into Kindred's ult?
Mrs. Mighty Bacon, not realizing that she could have been invincible as well, just barely not inside the Kindred ultimate.
That was a nice use of ultimates, though, by both sides. I thought we were going to see the Kindred ult to keep himself alive, but instead he trusts the Zillion to do it, and the Zillion manages to make the play. Xerath's rotating down here, and Kindred doesn't have any help. This could be a dangerous situation here. He's just gonna let the dragon reset. He probably could have forced it, but I guess it's better not to risk it.
He decided not to go for the 1v1 against Xerath, just taking the scuttle, taking what he can,
I
and
think
going back to clearing his jungle.
It's pretty dark, so I don't think he knew it was there. And like as we said, like Nocturne's running 3/4 of the jungle right now. Kindred needs these ganks to work out because he's only able to farm like half his jungle.
Definitely falling quite far behind. Xerath barely missing that stun in the mid lane. Morgana sees her life.
Gwen's pathing down, which is an interesting play to make, but it's also a little bit dangerous because it does allow the Yorick to like shove this in if he wants to.
Orianna dead in the mid lane though. Has a clear path away now. Just walk through him in.
They know Yorick's there. He was trying to clear the ward out. He's going to get hit with the stun. This is probably going to be Yorick's death here, which is going to get rid of his maiden. Unfortunately, he didn't try to fight it. He just ran this hit. He might have been able to go 1-for-1 if he actually fought it instead of just running away. The stun gets landed on Kindred, and that's going to be his death.
And Haru's mid lane pulling ahead again. Are we going to see a repeat from last game, or is Cookie going to be able to come back and shut down the snowball?
They had a much better first 5 minutes of the game. But then after that, just a couple misplays here and there. It looks like Cookie's decided they want to do a lane swap, though.
They did a lane swap, throwing Yorick in the mid lane, deciding that Orianna's saying, I can't be mid anymore. This Xerath is just going to keep killing me, keep poking me down. He has way too much range. And then Yorick walking towards mid, and now he's going top instead. They decide against it.
No, they're not doing the lane swap. Which I think might have been a good idea here. It puts them both into a much more favorable matchup.
I do think the Yorick would just get completely destroyed in mid.
Yeah, it would. I mean, the Yorick still has to build magic resist anyways because of the matchup he's facing. But do you think he's going to be building Hullbreaker first? Dodges the bind, which is huge. Is going to just get away nicely.
Taking the dragon, again delaying the game.
Big kill there. Are they going to be able to finish off the Ezreal as well? They are. They're going to go 2-for-1. They're double kill on the Kindred, which at this point in time is probably the character you want the kills on.
That is huge for Cookie getting those. The goal difference was starting to build up, and now they're going to go mid.
Doesn't get hit by the stun. Those dodges look like they're going to land, and then each time he's just getting nicked.
A lot of damage coming out of that Xerath, killing the Kindred.
Needs to dodge skill shots.
Being able to hit them, even though Kindred has the dash to being very mobile, being able to... He has the utility to try and dodge all of those, and Xerath's still able to hit those.
Xerath's landed every single stun this game. I don't know if I've seen him miss a stun yet.
Haru's mid lane is showing up again, building that lead. So we're probably gonna see the Herald coming up soon from Nocturne so that they can get that third mid. They might not even need it, it's only one plate left. And then they're gonna do the same thing as last game, take the mid turret, push it into the other lanes, and then try and just use the Xerath's lead to pull ahead in all the other lanes.
We see Yorick with Hullbreaker now.
He rushed the item, yeah.
Which I think that's the play. They're just gonna kill Maiden, which really limits his damage. But they did get Nocturne's ult out, and he didn't die.
Nocturne ult down. Ooh. Whew. That's
Nautilus
a Cillian
with 1
ult
health
down.
left.
That's a really long cooldown.
Yeah, I think they would have rather him die. I think if they had a choice, they would rather him die there to get the more health on the Zillion. Unfortunately, our Kindred
die so they can build health.
Our Kindred's been getting kills, but hasn't been getting kills on characters he's marked.
He has not, no. And Yorick not having a flash here. I wouldn't be surprised if we see the Nocturne just moving top and going for a tower dive or something. Just punishing that he doesn't have ult and he doesn't have flash. As Xerath's running away, he's gonna repeat of last time.
His ult's out here, though. He has him low. Big heal's gonna come out. He's not gonna be able to get the kill, though.
Times it perfectly. Nocturne moving in under the turret to kill the Orianna. The Orianna dies.
That was a
And Morgana uses his stopwatch in bot lane.
that was a huge flash. Keep him alive there. I'm gonna keep pushing this. They're gonna lose probably 2 towers here. Haru's playing this game in a way that they could end it in like 25 minutes if they keep up the pace.
The pace has been really fast for them, taking both tier 1 and tier 2 in mid, and now threatening the tier 3, getting the shots from the Herald on. That's the first Herald.
Near sighted with the Zillion ult has to be annoying to deal with. Can't really see where the shots are coming.
Happy feet dodging those Seraph ults. Morgana just walks up and autos him once. So go for tower dive in bot lane onto that Nautilus. Kindred showing up.
Kindred is here. He is really far behind now in health and damage, but he is going to look like he's going to get that big shot down gold. Will he be able to land a triple kill here? No, he gets hit with the bind, the flash, and the heal. Sorry, the heal comes out as well to give him that extra speed to get away. I think the bind needed to hit and the heal needed to land and not die there.
Yeah, that Kindred looked like she was ready to kill all of them if she dodged that binding. So we're moving back. Dragon coming up in a minute. We're probably gonna see them move down there, try and set up some wards. Yeah.
Joe, how did you do it?
Yeah, it's definitely
Haru's
an interesting
far
situation.
ahead. Yeah, Haru's so far ahead, they might not even need the dragons. They're probably gonna finish before the soul. CKC really wants the dragons, so if they can get the soul, it's gonna put them right back into the game, as that's a lot of gold difference just made up from the stats and just the general thing you get from a soul.
And the 2 souls are going to be both useful for Crazy's team. Mountain Soul always incredibly useful, and so is Cloud Soul for this team. Getting that Zillion ult more often, getting that Kindred ult more often is going to provide a lot of value for them. Just blowing up right away as soon as he's respawned. Not much he could do there. Unfortunately,
the
Kindred
and the
is
Seraph working together to take the kill away from Nocturne.
the Kindred is so sorry. The Nocturne is so far ahead that he can basically just like kill anyone other than. He can probably just kill anyone on the team right now.
Yeah, I believe he just presses R and decides to target.
Oh, huge
The
shutdown!
Nocturne
We
goes
missed.
down. So it's now in a 1v3 in the bot lane.
Big damage. Manages to dodge the skill shots. If he can dodge his next binding, he might be able to win this fight. Does not dodge the binding.
Took the binding to the face while doing a front flip. As the Kindred goes down. He has been able to get the shutdown on the key targets right now. Kindred has a lot of money.
Nice dodge by the Zillion. I have to give the Zillion credit. He has been dodging skill shots far better than most of his team.
The Cillian playing dodgeball as he's dodging everything. Orianna not so much, getting hit by 2 things from the Seraph and now has no health left.
I'm definitely a little bit confused by the choice of boots that the Yorick decided to make. I thought for sure the choice here would have been magic boots.
Yorick deciding that he's scared of the Nocturne, building Nocturne and the Gwen, probably just expecting that it's those two that's gonna come top.
Yeah, but the Gwen
Getting
is
the
magic
defensive from
damage and the
auto-attacks?
Xerath is magic damage, right?
Yeah, it is.
So it's definitely... I definitely think it would put him in a better place in lane. And Nocturne just absolutely blows him up. Not much to say besides Nocturne's just so far ahead he can pretty much just go in and kill anyone right now.
Nocturne could pick a target and he picked the...
Unfortunately what happened was he got to farm 3/4 of the jungle maps pretty much uncontested. And that allowed him to get ahead on farm, which he then translated to kills and lanes. Nocturne's gonna go in, he's gonna get hit with the ult here, but there's just no damage behind it. Orianna just doesn't have enough to do, doesn't even have her mythic finish yet, so it just didn't hit like in any way, shape.
With all of the gold being on the Kindred and Cookie, that is where all of the damage is going to come from. So with Cookies not near, even when they hit all of their CC, it's going to be really difficult for them to kill anybody, especially that Nocturne, who's building very tanky build right now.
Yeah, the Nocturne knows they're ahead enough that he doesn't really need to worry about damage. He's just going to get damage just from his sheer level advantages. And by late game, he knows if it makes it that point in time, Cookie's team's going to scale in a way that he's not going to be able to deal damage anyways. Big fight coming here. A lot of damage coming in here. Nocturne's ult's going to come down, keep him alive a little longer. He really wants to get the damage on the near side of there. Is he going to get a kill? He does manage to finish it off. Running for his life now, see if he can get away. But Xerath comes through again with the long range. And Xerath lands another stun.
And they're still going. 20 seconds to do whatever they want. They're probably going to go for this inhib, and let's see what they decide on afterwards. Have been slowly choking out the enemies, taking all of their jungle games.
Take a tower here as well.
They decide not to. Just slowly walking away.
Just gonna poke some damage in with the Xerath. If somebody walks up too far and makes a mistake, they'll go and do more. Gwen's getting a lot of value top lane right now.
Yeah, keeping the pressure mid, saying you guys are gonna stay here in mid lane, you have to enter, else we're gonna go through mid while Gwen's taking the top turn.
I think with the Hullbreaker coming in here, I think Gwen's gonna become a very important pick in this game. In games, overall. She's someone who's really good into all the characters who want to build Hullbreaker.
Nautilus Assault going onto the Ezreal. Not gonna be any follow-up on that.
Lands the hook into his own death, because there's not much he can do there. He kind of hooks himself to his own death there. I think Cookie's decided they're not winning this game. And have stopped trying as hard.
Nautilus trying to make something happen up in top lane, but not having the follow-up to going up and underestimating the Gwen damage going down very quickly as Xerath finished it off. As two inhibs are now down at the 21-minute mark.
It's definitely a weird place to be in for a team, because you feel like you have to do something or you're going to lose, but you trying to do something also puts you in an awkward situation. Nocturne tower dives, fountain dives to get that kill, dies in return.
Taking a page out of Peralta's book, killing people in the fountain as he dies to the laser. Now they're not going to be able to take the turrets after losing that, and they're probably just going to back here, get the gold, and try and seal the deal afterwards.
Get the gold. You can put everyone bot lane right now, put 5 bot, or 4 bot, put Gwen pushing other lanes in. Because you have to send multiple people to match Gwen now. Mostly because the characters who could match her normally just aren't good in that matchup.
Yeah, the Yorick falling too far behind so he can no longer answering Gwen is very key to this. We did talk about it earlier, that we wanted to see a lot of pressure into top lane, trying to get Yorick ahead, trying to let Yorick control this game. And him falling behind really set them back from that specific game plan, and now they have to come up with another game plan to win this game.
Which is basically Kindred needs to do everything. But unfortunately... Unfortunately, he's just not able to, because there's no one in their teams who has enough survivability. I think Xerath just missed his first stun of the game.
There has been a couple, but what Xerath can't do, Mechanic
Big Xerath
stun the Kindred.
Big Xerath damage coming here, gets the ult out, does not matter because the damage follow-up is there. I expect this to be game coming up here in the next few minutes.
They have decided, you know what, we have the range, we have the poke, we're just gonna siege here, we're gonna slowly kill you all, we deal so much damage. Any still that hits means somebody dies.
They have a great siege, and whenever Nocturne's ult comes up, it gives them a great chance to just dive and blow someone up.
Yeah.
And this is gonna be game right here. Cookies may have looked really bad here at the end, but I actually have to say their first 10 minutes of the game were much, or not 10 minutes, like 5-7 minutes of the game, were much better than the first game. They just needed a little bit more help protecting their own jungler's jungle.
Team Haru running away with a 2-0. definitely showing up again. That's the second win of their tournament. Playing really well, playing off both their jungler and their mid laner has been doing amazing, these two, and having a lot of impact on how the game has gone.
I'm really looking to Haru's matchup next week because the team they're playing next week might be the next strongest team in this bracket. In this tournament. So it's going to be interesting to see how that matchup goes. It was definitely their team's coming out really strong here, looking really, really good. Their mid laner played amazing. Their jungler played great, as he did in the first series and this one as well. I think Serenity's Flame and Ninja have the potential to be able to match their mid laner. That's why he wasn't able to show off quite so much on week 1 as he was on week 2. But their team's just so strong in so many different places that not everyone needs to pop off every game.
Yeah, definitely going to be like interesting to see a lot of these matchups. As you said, Sereni had 2 stand-ins, so it's going to be interesting to see how strong they're going to be once they don't have those stand-ins and have the players that they've practiced with. And we have the other team who also has 1-0 right now, and we're going to see them, like, I believe after this.
Yeah, that is the game tomorrow.
Now, that's the game tomorrow.
Tomorrow at 8 East. Yes, it's going to be interesting because, like, Serenity unfortunately had to have a couple fill-ins. Ninja had class. Sig was off doing his military duty at training, so they were not able to play last week. But we're really looking forward to seeing how that matchup goes tomorrow. And again, 8 o'clock East, and then the next stream after that will be Tuesday when we talk over highlights and what we expect to see what's coming up on the next week as well. Again, another great standout game by Haru's Harem. They played fantastic, really well. Like it's harder to game plan against them because it feels like their team's so strong in different places. The bans are less about banning someone out and more about banning out things that are going to help you win. Like, uh, Gwen should have been banned if with the Yorick pick because Gwen's so good into tanks, right? Maybe you should have banned Vayne as well for that reason, so they didn't risk taking Vayne top lane, right? You need to figure out what your win plan is instead of banning out their strengths. You need to ban out to enhance your strengths now because their team's showing how deep and how strong they are.
Yorick did show that he was winning trades in top lane too, as well. So we did see in top lane that they are capable of pulling ahead in that top lane. They were playing really well. It was just the jungler and Haru is just on top of every game we've seen. Just been top, been mid, exactly where they need to be.
Being able to farm 3 jungles for the first 7 minutes was the only major mistake Cookie's team made this game. And by the time they tried to correct it, it was already too late.
And completely locked out Kindred from the top side of the map. So was just unable to set up any ganks in top lane unless they just walk through a jungle of no camps. Just walk through a lot of nothing just to hope to get something in top lane.
Yes, unfortunately, that is what happened. But that was the game. Cookies can look back on this. There's going to be some things they can learn from it. They've already looked better today than they did in their game last week, and I do expect them to look even better next week again. They look like they're doing a good job of seeing what's going wrong and working on adjusting it. Because as we said from the first game to the first game, their top lane was the person who performed best for them, so they tried to play around that. The York pick looked like they wanted that lane to continue to be able to do that, but Haru's team just realized that and then put all their resources in that lane instead.
Definitely. Yeah, so I think we're looking forward to the games tomorrow.
Yes, the
As
games
said
tomorrow,
earlier,
which will be Serenity Esports versus Team Zen. Team Zen is a team where their top laner from the games the first week was who they played through a lot of. That's the biggest difference between this week and last week was last week their Cookies top laner didn't look very good because Zen Josh, the team captain of Team Zen, just absolutely ran through him. So I'm actually really looking forward to seeing how Serenity Esports top laner Click can play into that. And I'm really looking forward to next week to seeing how Zen plays into um, uh, setups.
yeah. Exactly. Gonna be some great games that's coming up tomorrow.
Yeah,
As
8
said
o'clock
earlier,
East.
this whole tournament is only possible thanks to Elo Esports. Thanks to them so much for help setting all of this up.
Yeah. Exclamate Discord to join their Discord. Does a lot of Overwatch stuff. They have a Valorant Discord as well. They're looking to continue to spend into more games. We're looking to keep growing League of Legends content and as well. So this is going to be the future home of a big esports besides just what they have now in Overwatch with League and Valorant and more games to come after that as well. Thank you guys, and we will see you guys back tomorrow with our casters who are on then, streaming the Serenity Esports versus Team Zen.